Hello and welcome to another edition of the 4 o'clock game. And today, on this edition of the 4 o'clock game, in honor of the Winter Olympic Games, which is going on in Vancouver, Canada, I'm going to present to you one of the worst games ever made. And you guess what it is? Yup, this is Winter Games. This game came out in 1987, and it's presented to us by Acclaim and Epyx. For those of you who haven't remember seeing if you watch the AVGN reviewed Winter Games, I've seen this like many times, and yeah, he is not good. He was not doing good on this game because yeah, it has horrible controls and lots of bad gameplay and a lot of broken controls and all that kind of stuff. Well, you can never tell. This game is a terrible mess. And this game is also based on the Commodore 64 game. You know, they first released as a Commodore 64, then it released on many different systems, like many different computers, like Amiga, Apple, even the PC, as well as the video game systems such as the Atari 2600 and the 7800. But this game is not as good. But this is actually not the best version of Winter Games out there. Yeah, it's probably the worst port out there because the NES was actually very, very bad. In this game, you can compete with 4 different events instead of 7. The Atari versions only have 7 events in the 2600 version, so the NES decided to scale it back to only 4 events. Yeah, 4 events instead of 7, missing the other 3 events because this game in this event you can compete 4 events including hot dog aerials, speed skating, figure skating, and the bobsled. And those of you who have been watching this video right now, and if you watch the AVGN, he actually did a review of Winter Games back in December of 2009 of last year when he reviewed Winter Games. And yeah, this game was pretty bad. I don't want to play this game again. And even as one of the worst games out there. And even, yeah, a lot of great ports of the game because one of the worst ports out there, right next to Action 52 and Doom for the Super Nintendo. Yeah, the game's even bad. So, in honor, as we said, this game is dedicated to the Winter Games, which is going on in Vancouver, Canada. This is probably one of the only Olympic-style game ever made on the NES. But this one is very bad. I know. I got this game from one of my cousins. Yeah, he gave that to me a couple of years ago, and it was actually it's not I wasn't doing great on this game. So, for those if you're watching this on my show, if you already watched the AVGN review, let's go and play Winter Games, one of the worst games ever made. And here we go. Here it is. This is the title screen of Winter Games for the NES. Here it is, folks. One of the worst games ever made. And those of you who have never played Winter Games before, yeah, it's got the copyright screen on there. It says 1985, 1987 by Epyx. The Nintendo version was adapted by Pony, and it's also licensed and controlled by Acclaim. Well, Acclaim has one of the worst gaming companies ever made for the 8-bit era, where they made Rambo and World Runner. Yeah, World Runner's a decent game, as well as Total Recall is one of the worst game ever made. And guess what? I did a review of this. I did a playthrough of this on my 4 o'clock game episode from probably last year when I did Total Recall. So, yeah, Acclaim was probably notorious for making worse games. Yeah, from hit or miss titles on the NES. So, so here we go right now with Winter Games. Let us start this game right now. Here it is. All I do is hit the start button. Every time, you will know that it's time to hit the start button when I hear it, when I would press this button, like this. Let's begin now. Yeah, this is the opening ceremony, and yeah, the intro was horrible, and I cannot believe it's probably one of the worst intros in an NES game. This is so horrible. Yeah. I cannot believe this. The music is kind of a more fanfare and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like on all games like Track and Field 2 has opening ceremonies as well as closing ceremonies after you beat the game. Well, you can tell me if you want to. This is really worse than this. And this is probably one of the worst intros ever made. After hearing this one, after we complete this intro, I can hit the button. You can compete in all events. You can choose the option to compete in all events, compete in one event, practice events, see world records, and, of course, replaying the opening ceremony. I mean, come on! That is wasted! I'm not gonna I'm not gonna replay the opening ceremony. No way! It's already just begun! Okay. All I can do is, yeah, you can practice events, you can practice anything you want, or you can see the world's records. Yeah, you can hear that's outdoor. Yeah, it's no score. It has world's records on there. You can practice events, and you can compete in either one event, or I can compete in all events. Okay, as of right now, I will compete in all events. You can choose the option to get 1 or 2 players, or you can choose your country theme. I can choose USA. And I will put a name on this. Yeah, the name entry is not as good. I can't believe that I have to try it again. I will choose a name. I'll give you a name of one of my favorite users. Yes, Aubrey. Yeah, Aubrey, man, 6187. Or I have to choose. Yeah. Yeah, I can choose Matt. Matt, you know, one of the most former YouTube members who was recently suspended back in a couple of weeks ago, so he renamed his account as Matt, as Matt49324. Now he's Matthew V 21688. I'll choose Matt for a second. It's one of my users. And they play the national anthem, just like they did in the TV station sign-offs. They play the national anthem. And that concludes our broadcast day. Alright. And now the first event is hot dog aerials. Yeah, that's a good score. Yeah, you can go to, yeah, it's a ski jump level. And yeah, the music is kind of bad. I don't know if you ever played this game. Why am I playing hot dog aerials? What can I say? Alright, let's take a break right now, and we'll be back with more of Winter Games right here on the 4 o'clock game.